Guys, remember back in May when Tfue sued FaZe Clan and we made like 8 videos about it? Remember back in August when FaZe Clan sued Tfue? Well, since a summer shit show of lawsuits, drama reports, and tell-all videos, things have kinda calmed down a bit. That is, until now. Nearly 4 months after FaZe Clan first filed their lawsuit against Tfue, Tfue's legal team has officially fired back. Guys, I have in my hand Tfue's official legal response to the New York-based lawsuit against him. It is called Defendant Turner Tenney, PKA, Tfue's Answer to Plaintiff's Complaint. Not exactly a page-turner title. And it was filed in the Southern District Court of New York on November 21st. Now, those of you who have been following this case already know that Tfue filed his own legal complaint against FaZe Clan in California first. And all Tfue and his legal team have done up to this point to respond to the New York lawsuit is to try to get it thrown out or at least delayed until the California one has finished. Well, a judge in this case said no, and it looks like all that's out the window, and this New York case is going to proceed. Now, time for a super quick recap for anyone who needs a refresher in Tfue Lawsuits 101.
In September of 2018, Tfue's lawyer sends letters to FaZe Clan trying to get him out of his contract, alleging FaZe Clan breached that contract and owes him money. In May 2019, Tfue sues FaZe Clan. He alleges that his contract under FaZe was grossly oppressive and illegal, insofar as FaZe Clan was acting as a talent agency in the state of California without having a license to do so. Tfue's contract leaks shortly after. We here at theScore Esports get an exclusive interview with Tfue's lawyer who breaks the fact that Tfue tried to modify or change his contract before moving to actually sue FaZe Clan. Then we interview FaZe Clan CEO who drops their entire side of the story and their legal defense to that lawsuit. In August, FaZe countersues Tfue, this time in the state of New York, alleging he stole trade secrets, he breached his contract, and he made $20 million under FaZe. And that he also apparently wanted to start a rival org. Finally, Tfue's lawyers try to get the New York case either thrown out or delayed. They are unsuccessful.
Now that all of that is out of the way and we're all caught up, what does Tfue's response to FaZe Clan's lawsuit actually say? The first part of it is a point-by-point, paragraph-by-paragraph response to every single thing FaZe is suing him for. And a lot of them pretty much boil down to the legal equivalent of, no, you. For example, Tfue's response denies his lawsuit and his conduct damaged FaZe Clan's business and brand in any way. It denies the original gamer agreement contract was legal and enforceable. It denies he owes FaZe money. It denies he slandered and disparaged FaZe Clan to cause financial harm. It denies he tried to entice other FaZe streamers, like Cloaksy, to leave the org. It denies he stole FaZe Clan trade secrets, and it denies he's using those secrets to start his own competing esports org. Now, the second half of Tfue's legal response is by far the more interesting part. It lists 25 individual defenses, some of which we've heard before and some of which are new. And I want to start with the most mysterious of the bunch. There are a number of these different defenses that hinge on what this document only refers to as the alleged statements. But it's pretty clear they're pertaining to public comments that Tfue made about FaZe. At least that's my understanding. And in FaZe Clan's lawsuit, they allege that Tfue made slanderous comments about FaZe Clan, that he lied about the org and disclosed parts of his contract that he shouldn't have. FaZe's lawsuit even specifies one Twitch stream that happened back in May where Tfue says FaZe Clan are, quote, not doing anything like worth the cut they're taking.
They're not doing anything like worth like the cut that they're taking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
now, I am not a licensed lawyer. I am not a legal expert. But with my understanding and experience with this case, it seems reasonable to conclude that these defenses are referring to this and other allegedly slanderous statements that Tfue made publicly about FaZe Clan. Now, to defend against this accusation, Tfue's legal team contend that, well, what he said is actually true. Or at least it's an opinion which can't be proven true or false.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like your opinion, man.
They also invoke California Civil Code Section 47, which, suffice to say, is basically just a defense for libel. as well as New York Civil Rights Code Section 74, which, if my interpretation is correct, is a defense for reporting true accounts of legal proceedings. They even invoke the First Amendment to the United States Constitution, which, in case you haven't been paying attention in school, is the one about free speech. Now, to get further clarification on this pretty mysterious line of defense, I did reach out to the New York lawyer representing Tfue, which, by the way, is different than the California lawyer. And unfortunately, he never got back to me after my many calls and emails to his personal office. I gotta say, I like the California guy a bit better. Next up is a defense that we've heard about a million times from Tfue's team, both in California and in New York, which is that New York is not the proper venue, according to Tfue's legal team, for this proceeding. Remember that Tfue's original contract, his gamer agreement, specified that legal proceedings related to it had to take place in New York. Now, Tfue's legal team have contended the whole way through that that clause is unenforceable and potentially illegal. Next, the defense claims that FaZe Clan can't even sue Tfue for a breach of contract because that contract was null and void from the get-go. Now, this defense to FaZe Clan's lawsuit doesn't detail exactly how that's the case, but you'll remember in Tfue's California lawsuit, they contend that this contract was, yes, illegal and unenforceable from the start based on California law. There's also a defense that basically says that no, FaZe Clan did not suffer any brand or monetary damage as a result of Tfue's conduct. And if they did, it's totally their own fault. Tfue's 10th defense invokes Section 16600 of the California Business and Professions Code, which, if you've watched our previous videos on the subject, you know all about. Basically, it's the safeguard in California against non-compete clauses where an employee leaves an employer and tries to work in the same industry for a different employer. Man, Tfue's really hung up on this California stuff. Speaking of which, Tfue's people also invoke something called New York General Business Law 349, aka New York's Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Interestingly enough, from my cursory look at this law, it seems like it's often invoked in cases where a consumer has been bitten in the ass by a case of false advertising. In other words, I'm not explicitly sure how it would apply to this lawsuit. Now, remember how FaZe Clan accused Tfue of stealing trade secrets to start his own rival org? Well, the defense for that one is actually 4 things. 1, Tfue came up with whatever secret content techniques FaZe Clan thinks he stole. 2, that everybody in the public already knows these so-called secrets. 3, if Tfue actually did take confidential information with him when he left FaZe, well, FaZe Clan should have just done a better job of keeping it confidential. And 4, whatever these trade secrets actually are, FaZe Clan failed to identify them with sufficient particularity. Meaning, nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And then there are a lot of defenses that I won't go into in detail that boil down to this. FaZe Clan breached their own gamer agreement, didn't fulfill their obligations, and therefore cannot claim damages. So what the heck does Tfue's legal defense here actually mean? Well, look, how good these defenses will actually function in a court of law isn't up to me, isn't up to Tfue's lawyer, isn't up to anyone out there except the people involved in the actual court proceedings in this case. And that is really the meaningful update with this defense, that these proceedings are actually going to happen. There will literally be a lawsuit that will play out in court unless something crazy happens, like a last-minute settlement with this case. Prior to this, Tfue's team hadn't engaged with the New York lawsuit at all. They were just trying to get it quashed or delayed. Now, it looks like they're prepared to actually fight some kind of battle. Honestly, guys, man, I'm at the point where I live in Toronto, it's all about the hipster beers here, the IPAs. People are drinking these weird brews that punch you in the face on your first sip. I'm not about it. Honestly, man, I hate to be a boomer. If I want to crush some beers, I need to kick back with a 12-pack of Pabst. I don't give a fuck, dude. I honestly don't give a fuck. I just want to crush those cans, feel good for a minute, you know? I don't need to feel the citrus. When I become a starship captain, okay, you know how fucking Picard goes to the replicator and he's like, tea, Earl Grey, hot. I'm gonna be like, Pabst, cold one, baby. And they're just gonna materialize in my hand. I'm gonna be the sickest captain ever.